Okay. I think we are
Oh
live.
yeah, we're going.
All right. And welcome everyone to the Crosschain Council.
Yeah, it's
Welcome, everyone.
been a while, but good to see you guys. How's everything going, Razo?
Pretty good, pretty good. Did you guys check out those No King protests?
Woo! Yeah, that was 7 million people I heard or something like that.
I heard it was the biggest protest on the books ever, and I didn't hear that much about it on the mainstream. You guys, but I didn't really watch it.
No, not too much actually. I've been a little busy like looking at a few other items as well, but yeah, I did catch the different city. I think it was Boston that had like that massive crowd.
Yeah, but it kind of blows my mind. Where as a crypto person, I'm always like, "Hello." Have you guys heard about what Cardano's trying to do over here? Trying to build a digital government.
We have a constitution, right? We have a constitution.
We don't want kings either. That's kind of where we're building,
right?
Crypto world, right?
We are the kings who will own all the means of production. And now, it's kind of cool. This egalitarian join this community of is the ethos for Web3 that I love so much. So
yeah. But yeah, so that was kind of crazy to see that over the weekend. We'll have what have you been up to, Mr. Pauly?
Oh,
so with Vechain.
So much I got going on. A lot of stuff with Vechain happening behind the scenes. V Better DAO is a big focus as usual. I just interviewed a new team that's trying to come onto the DAO called Bike Academy, which is trying to incentivize people for riding their bikes in a cool, engaging way. So that was an interesting conversation.
Did you say
bicycles?
Bike
Academy. Yes.
Bike Academy. Cool.
BIK Academy. It was based out of Croatia, actually. So that was an interesting conversation. They're up for a grant, so they're going for a grant proposal. So what they've been doing in Vechain is sending a lot of these teams looking for grants my way to interview and give the community a chance to get to know what they're about, hear what they want to do with the money, stuff like that. So it was a good conversation. I signed on last week officially with my buddies on the Non-Fungible Book Club. So that's something I'm very excited about. Yeah.
The celebration streams.
I've got a paying gig in Web3, folks. I got a paying gig in Web3. But I'm really excited. I got an opportunity. I'm going to be interviewing authors that are launching their books, audio books on blockchain. So really excited to do that and get to know these authors and give them a chance to kind of talk about life. And we just won second place, me and Wild Bill, with the Arbor app on the Vechain Hackathon last week. So we got that. Of course, Arbor app and Sagas are my two apps that we're working on. So I got a lot of free time, guys. I got a lot of free time, not much going on. But very cool, very, very excited for the future. And we can maybe touch a little bit on it as we go, but I know we got a bunch of stuff we want to touch on today. So Rod, what about you, man? I know you got a lot of free time in your hands too. I don't know how you do it, how you're keeping your sanity.
I was gonna say, dude, like it sounds like you got your hands full. That's a lot that you're doing, man. And congratulations to you again on that opportunity that you've manifested with literally your willpower. Just like, you know what, this is happening. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to speak and generate a crowd. And dude, it's what I think about when I think of the age of autonomy. Like, I'm like, the age of autonomy is upon us. And here's a good example of it. You just go and you do it. Like with the stake pool operation, we just set it up. It's there. It's going. Like, stake with us if you want or don't, whatever. Like, find your community, but like, do it, right? So even us here, like, we're doing it, we're getting it, like, we're trying to. I really like when I hear the success stories that come from that, because I'm hopeful. Like, all right, we all got a shot. Like, we can really do this. On my end, dude, I'm busy as hell with a lot of the AI stuff mainly. So I'm doing a lot of that for my college. I built Morpheus partly from all the things that I learned of just getting really immersed in the AI conversation. And I have like some workshops that are coming up, actually teaching agentic development and stuff at the college and two different groups. So that's some stuff that I have coming up that's like workshopy. But I was telling Razo when we went to the Thrice concert the other day, I really want to start doing some blockchain based, Cardano based, but then also Vechain based, small content, short form, like educational, bite size, like learn it, get our newsletter, take our mini course. But eventually we'll be issuing small certificates or even NFTs as like proof of completion and things like that. So there's just a lot of that I'm kind of trying to work out and where AI fits into that puzzle. So all of that under the Dreams Academy banner. And then for Dreams, we have a stake pool report. I'll just briefly say I won't pop it up here on the screen, but we minted block number 50. So that's just awesome. It just kind of came at a good time. The percentage of luck. I'll go into the luck factor a little bit later about how we mint blocks, but it kind of seems so ridiculous that you have like 300% luck. That's why we minted that block. But we value our community of delegators. We have had a small influx of ADA into the pool. We're nearing all-time high delegation, which is an interesting metric again, right? Like we maxed out last time at 480 or so. So we didn't quite hit 500,000, and the goal is 1 million by December. I don't know if we're gonna make it. Come on, people watching online with the ADA bags, delegate to Dreams, get us to 1 million, or at least over 500,000. Like it would be a new benchmark of look, we're growing. We went all the way down to I want to say like 200. And it was like just scraping the bottom of just core supporters, like really believing in it. So anyway, it's coming back, and the operation itself is super robust and super awesome, like setup. It's there, man. It's ready for 65 million delegation, so we can mint all the blocks and power Web3 literacy here with our friends at Poly TV and Bad Money. And so yeah, that's a little bit about what we've been up to.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff going on around Web3, and I know we were thinking of touching on it. Even stuff in the news, right? I know Raza, you were talking about there's been some interesting conversations being had about. Obviously, think back last week we saw. Was it last week or the week before? Just the tank with the news. Of China and US. There's a lot of weird, wacky things going on globally right now, and the markets are all kind of like, what the hell? What do we make of this? And really, Raza, you were mentioning specifically a couple interesting things that have been in the news and talked about this last couple of days.
Yeah, well, for me, me, I'm Bad Money because I'm obsessed how money works. And I'm obsessed with money, especially right now in our time, because if you look throughout history, any empire that has fallen, it usually starts with their money. They begin to devalue their money. And we can see that our country, the United States, as sadly as it is, it's like it seems like we're dealing with the symptoms now, right? That's why we have this protest that I brought up, no kings, because people feel like, well, at the end of the day, it's like they can't afford anything, right? Everything's up. Insurance is up, meat's up. I heard like 20-30%. And I got a 3% raise. Like, it's kind of crazy. So for a lot of us, we're trying to feel the pains of a inflating currency, which is just what happens to nations, to empires when they get too big. And it doesn't really matter. I hope that people in No Kings understand that it doesn't really matter if you vote for the left or the right. At the end of the day, they're all just going to print more money because that's all they ever done. And that will continue until there's a crash. And you and I are going to have to pay for that, right? If we want to maintain all these wars and global empires, then we have to get used to paying for, I don't know how much gas is over there, Paulie, but over here it's like, what, like $5.20, Rod? $5.20 a gallon in San Diego, California?
$5.40 sounds close to almost $6.
I won't say what it is here because I don't want you guys to get too upset.
Is it three? Is it three cut in half?
It's around 3, yeah.
2.5. Yeah, I remember when I was back in my day. I remember my parents complaining about like gas is going over $1. It's $1.10. It's
really?
Yeah, dude, I remember that. That was like crazy. Up in LA area. I don't know if San Diego was always a little extra bougie or something, but
Yeah, when I started driving, it was like $3, and I started driving late. But
oh no, yeah.
but
By the
yeah,
time I started driving, for sure. Like I meant like I was a kid, just remembering my parents complain about gas, and so now I tell them, I'm like, yo, $5. What were you complaining about, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, I think when I
But
started driving, it was like $1.60, $1.70, something like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in major cities, right? So obviously, it's going to be a little cheaper. I'm not out in the boonies, and I'm not in the big city. I'm kind, you know what I mean. If you're in one of those, you're paying a premium for gas. You know, if you got to go 80 miles to get to the nearest gas station, you're going to be paying a pretty penny. And of course, California is just California. So yeah,
yeah.
God bless you guys out there with the prices on everything out there, pretty much. But yeah, it's interesting to think not that long ago, and what, half a lifetime, how much it's like a decade. I mean, you can think how much it's gone on. It's crazy. It's standard. You get a 3% raise. That's to keep up with normal inflation, right? Inflation is not like that anymore. It's inflation is inflating.
And then what's interesting about this, I know we haven't had our channel that much, but I know you guys have heard me talk about BRICS plan, how they're dumping the US dollar, how they're buying gold. Now everyone's talking about it. And I've been raw like years ago. I was like, dude, the Coinbase with USDC and Circle and BlackRock, they're starting to start this fucking crypto cartel. And now you see this. So China just unveiled their plan. So they're trying to build this currency that's backed by gold. And I think it's also going to be backed by other rare earths. But now China has a plan where they're buying up all the gold. Like you see gold doing nothing, and all of a sudden China started buying like a mofo. As soon as Trump dropped those tariffs on them, they've been buying gold like crazy. And I think the other countries are down because if their currency is going to be backed by gold, and not only that, other countries are going to be able to verify them. So they're going to have these hubs all around different countries. We're going to have different parts of the gold, and you can always redeem it in gold. So that's pretty crazy. And I think that if you control the money, but if you control the narrative, that's how you dominate the world. And I think China's playing that slow game. I think that we are choking ourselves out here in the United States, and it sucks because we are the younger generations, right? We're all millennials here, or what? Yeah, we're being handed out this shit system.
Millennial, baby.
We're getting handed out the shit system, and I'm looking at like China's trying to innovate. They're so in trouble too, because China's sort of like tied up with us too, economically, because they bought a lot of bonds, and also there's so many Chinese citizens, I think, that own property here in the United States. So like, I don't know how these economical things play out. Like if we go to war, does that really make sense for the Chinese too? Because we owe them a lot of money, and we're paying them money in interest because they buy our bonds. It's like the whole thing is just so complicated. And now I'm looking at the no kings, and I'm looking at this war on currencies between different nations. So there's multiple war fronts, right? There's the war at the informational level. There's the war, the physical, like what's going on through Ukraine and Israel, which are just proxies of the United States. But the war that I'm more obsessed with is the currency war. There's this war between China and America, or BRICS, right, and NATO. And then we have this war between the old money, and now we have this new technology, crypto. And it's just crazy how these things are connecting, how we reach some sort of like technological crossroads. And the decisions that we take today, seems to me, are going to impact the rest of our futures. And I just hope that like the younger generations like us are beginning to wake up and at least educate themselves on how money can crush our nation. And I don't know, are other people interested in this, or is it just me? Because I don't know what's going on.
It's funny. If I can chime in just really quickly, I have this conversation often. I guess conversations tend to go in this direction. The economy, just in a lot of what we talk about, and like even in a classroom setting where you're talking about literature, it's just so palpable everywhere. The economy is crushing. Like food is expensive. You talk about students who have now higher food costs, higher housing costs, just inflation, the whole bit. I won't go into the details, but it's like, damn, that's stressful. highly difficult to avoid debt from. Where do you have any type of money to invest? Nor are you given any financial literacy at all. It's rough, dude. It's like, and so in my class, we end up talking about like, we're talking literature, and then someone makes a comment about, well, why does this not happen? Or why don't we have this? And it's like, well, what would that cost? And where would the funding come from for that? Also, who is lobbying for that to be the case? They're like, what? And then now it's like, ooh, new insight. Like, you have to get involved with local government if you want to change things around you. And if not local government, then local bodies of constituents who can make change in you, whatever local organization you have. It's governance top down. Like it's the same thing running a Senate or running a DAO or running a, it's the same stuff. It's governance. So now that we have this like leaning, blockchain governance, right? Cardano's got some governance, Vechain's got some governance, right? These specific ones that are facilitating the means by which to create governance. Like those ecosystems will survive because governance has to go online. It makes sense. The systems work. They're efficient. Today, case in point, AWS went down. Don't know if you guys know this, but AWS went down. Why do I know this? Because I'm in class going, oh, you can't access Canvas, which is your LMS. So sorry. Like, so what happens to all that? They can't access any of it. No grades, no submissions, no module, nothing. So immediately it begs the question, did all Cardano nodes go down? No, Cardano kept pumping, even though AWS went down. So you're like, interesting. So because it has a robust network of nodes that are not on AWS. So now I'm thinking we have a use case now for a decentralized internet, because I don't want my content to be in Web 2 where this type of attack can hinder my access to curriculum and education. So guess what? Now we need to put it on blockchain. So when AWS goes down or Google goes down or whatever goes down, we have a back. It's on the blockchain. It's backed by this ongoing technology of these nodes that are maintaining truth of the network. Anyway, right. Just like I'm thinking about all that.
No, and you say truth. And another thing I think is really important to remember is, a big tactic in any sort of battle, war, or anything is the war of information, right? And propaganda. And we're entering an age now where truth is becoming harder and harder to decipher from false. AI, I mean, we're getting to a point now where you watch videos of people in AI and you have no clue it's AI. It's getting insane. And I think what's great about blockchain is everything. It can't be manipulated like a person. It's you set it, the governance, and it goes X plus Y equals Z. And there's no fudging around with it. We can be so easily manipulated, and that's one of the dangers of being a human, is that we have beliefs and we understand psychology and we can manipulate each other. Blockchain isn't designed to be manipulated. It's either it can work, whatever you're trying to do works, or it doesn't, and it doesn't happen. So in this age of propaganda reaching an all-time high of ability and so hard to be able to tell what's real and what's not, it's going to be even more important moving forward to have systems in place that are not going to be swayed like you and I could be.
Yeah, but well, in Cardano, we like to say code is law, right? Because I think the three of us probably trust some piece of code, but believe it or not, especially on the right chain, then politicians, because it's crazy when you see like 200 of them go to another country to pledge their allegiance to some other people that are not Americans. It's just kind of crazy when you see that. It's like, yeah, I'd rather trust some code of law, some code. And it's crazy because me and Rob were talking about this the other night, how he's saying there's a replacement for governance. But remember, we were talking about for voting. Like there's obviously solutions for voting where it's open source, where there's no shenanigans, where you can do things like ranked choice voting. So you're not stuck having to vote for two choices, but we're not like using these tools But I think the more time passes, I think China actually has a very smart idea. This is the shit that I'm talking about. They're because China is being run by a bunch of engineers and scientists and forward-looking leaders, right? Who don't have to worry about the next election in 4 years. They're thinking 20, 100 years in advance, and that's what China's doing. They're just slowly choking us, and a lot of us Americans were asleep. I don't think we understood the complexity in our economics and the banking system and our government and how like deeply corrupt it is. But I think a lot of our generation especially is beginning to wake up, and I think we're seeing this manifested in the streets. But I'm afraid that I think China already game checked us, dude. I'm honest. I think they already beat us. They already got us, because
How
if
so?
they control the currency, it's done, because most of the world has turned their backs against us, right? A lot of people in the world right now hate the United States because we're funding, let's say, Israel, who they see as, starting a genocide, right? So a lot of the world has just completely turned against us, and it's worrying because China, instead of trying to fight people, they're trying to build like relationships with all these countries. And they thought about this gold thing a lot, like how it's in different places, so everyone can trust each other, right? So they're trying to put like retrust in this currency, which we, the United States, have lost completely, right? No one really trusts the US dollar anymore. I mean, I don't trust the US dollar. I don't think you do too. That's why you're buying cryptocurrencies, right? And I think the United States government has realized, I think the government administration has realized this, and they have their own plan, right? They're trying to start this like printing of money through the stable coin, which is a whole thing I'm still learning, trying to understand. But it seems like it's the same thing we've done throughout history, where we like revalue our debt. Um, but I just don't know if it's gonna work. It's a crazy time right now. I'm still trying to see where all this goes, but I think China's going to checkmate us, and that worries me. And I hope that some American politicians wake up and begin to realize what's happening here to our nation.
That's why I would really like to advocate for more involvement with Stand with Crypto and some of these lobby groups that we have in California. Shout out to Miss Nifty. Shout out Stand with Crypto California. Shout out to homie Cullah, also a president of Stand with Crypto. Also a constitutional delegate to the Cardano convention, like myself. No, it's cool to have these like homies now, friends. So that you meet, and then you see how they get involved into the governance conversation, and that's where again real change happens, is in local conversations and in just sitting down with people to explain complex concepts. And I know that because I've just spent the last 2 years, 2.5 years doing that with AI, like literally sitting people down going, okay, step one, it's not Skynet. Okay, let's start there. Step two, actually, it can't do all that. Actually, it can't do this and that, right? Like it's just a lot of demystifying, a lot of and I had the luxury, by the way, to learn all of this because of Cardano and because of Web3. So during COVID, after COVID, that's when I learned a lot about Cardano and Bitcoin, Ethereum, Vechain, all of them. But I had that like Web3 is a bigger thing than that. It's blockchain, it's crypto, it's robotics, it's IoT, it's AI. But I was like, I don't see AI, dude. Like, where's AI? I was like, AI is lame. I was like, we have Siri, we have Google. Like, listen, it's functional, but it's not really that like Jarvis exciting AI thing, right? And this was October 2022 when I'm having these concerns. November 2022, ChatGPT drops. I was like,
DeepSeek.
there's
DeepSeek.
AI. No, that came later. Oh,
it drops.
It drops. As in ChatGPT itself came online. They released it. The first transformer model, like LLM, true LLM. And then, of course, it was like a race to just now have Claude and Gemini, and all of them are just doing their thing. But what happened there in that conversation was also the same as what happens with blockchain. Is once you understand blockchain, you go, well, which blockchain? And like, How does it work? Well, I know the fundamentals. I know it's like a digital ledger, a digital receipt. I know it's going to track stuff. I know wallets connect to it. Like you can kind of generalize now. And the same thing happened with AI. It was like, well, look, I don't care if you're using Copilot or this or this or that. Like you're doing the same stuff. When we talk about agentic development, same thing. You're doing the same stuff. Like build it as a character, roles, like APIs, like memory, or RAG, like all of those. You have to build it in that way. So like they had to be taught all of that, and like I had to learn all of that, and it's still an ongoing thing. It's actually been an interesting thing to kind of shape the conversation as it happens. And I feel like with a blockchain, that's what we're trying to do now as we start all of this and say, you know what, we know about this stuff a little bit, so let's talk about it with people who know less, and we want to educate them to keep them safe. That's my big push, bro, is like, listen, now that's my agenda, is there are far too many scammers in this ecosystem. There's far too many pitfalls that you leave one bad impression on the wrong person, they take an entire community with them that's going to avoid blockchain because it's still not properly regulated, or it's still unsafe, or consumer protections are where they need to be. I know the libertarians are like, we don't need none of those protections, laissez-faire, bitches. I get it, but it's like, how do you keep the consumer safe in a way that then socially will be accepted, and the mass public will adopt it? You could do what El Salvador did, right? Say, we're Bitcoin now, here you go. Right? And there was a learning curve there, and some negative experience of that process too. So it's like, it's friction. Social friction is coming, but we're in it, and I'm glad that we're shaping the conversation. And the long arc of that was that we know enough now, thanks to the time we've taken to learn it, that we want to share it with the community, and we want to educate people. And that, I think, is super valuable as a pursuit. Like, let's keep some people safe. Let's help them thrive in the ecosystem. If they thrive, we thrive is the motto of a stake pool operation, right? Like, you stake, you grow, we all grow. It's decentralized. Like, it's so that was a long ramble, but I think I said a lot of important things about where we're at in the space.
Yeah, you did. But I get it, man. It's a lot going on in the world, especially since there's no like money. It's weird how they don't teach you about money in school, like at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's a mistake. I don't think that's coincidence.
Okay, but is it okay? But let's get a little bit like, is it negligence, or is it incompetence? Is it negligence? Is it incompetence? Is it straight up evil, like it's on purpose? Is it they just don't know and they're disinterested? Like, what is it ultimately that leads someone to just avoid something so essential to education as like your finances, and what credit is, and how you get a return on your investment? And these like super, like, now I'm like, dude, I learned this in my 30s. Like, people should have learned this way earlier. Like, when I was just making too much money and didn't properly manage it, because I was a young kid working 3 jobs and like working my way through school and paying that way. But like, I was stacking money, and I was like blowing it on things that were dumb, like a lot of DVDs, a lot of movies, like a lot of
dude, I'm not gonna lie, the gold people are right, dude. I feel like an idiot. We should have been stacking gold and BTC only this whole fucking time.
Yeah, well,
mostly gold.
A lot of people that make a lot of money in capitalism are middlemen. I think there are a lot of people who see a lot of financial incentive to say that it's probably better that we handle the stuff for them. There's the ego, there's we want more money. I think if most of the population was truly well educated on finances, on health, on wellness, on all the things that we should be educated on, think of all the money that would be not going into the insurance companies, the banking system, the tax system. There's so many financial the military industrial complex. all the money that is just flying out of our pockets into all these other businesses are doing so because we're paying other people to handle it for us. They have a financial incentive for that to be a thing. I think this whole system is designed the way it is for a specific reason. Control. They can control the masses if they are not able to take care of themselves, and we can make a lot of money while we do it. I really think that's what it is. And I think there is, as a byproduct of generations of society of the population not having that, it's only gotten worse. It's only gotten worse. And now with the advent of AI and other things, it's even easier for us to be even lazier. It's kind of like we're going down a toilet, and we've been going down it for a while, and now we're finally circling really fast at the bottom. Like, when are we gonna actually go? We're getting close. When are we actually, you know what I mean? I think we've gotten to that point as a society where all that power and control is coming to what they hope to be like the breaking point, where you've seen it in other countries where all of a sudden they have complete and total power. You see plutocracies, and you see oligarchies, and we probably could say we're in an oligarchy now. I kind of think we could probably say we are. We could have that conversation.
Oligarchish. We'll call it.
We're definitely oligarchish. We're in the vicinity of it, right? That's where I'm. I don't know if you want to say, is it evil? Is it this, that? It's probably a confluence of all of them, right? But I think if we really boiled it down, I just think it's all about control and how can they extract as much money out of us as possible while they do it.
Can you guys hear me? Because I cut off for a second.
Yeah, you went away for a minute, but you're back now.
My phone was dying, but so now I got a different camera, a different microphone in the middle of all this.
Was it the oligarchy? They came for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the school. Let me get my tinfoil hat. But you know how it started, right? This type of schools actually started in like medieval Europe to try to control the population. And I don't know which one of those fancy families was it, the Rockefeller, Rothschilds. They got deeply involved in education because they don't really teach you how to think. They were just trying. Maybe it wasn't on purpose. Maybe the intentions, they say, were in the right place. They want to educate the masses. We're going through the Industrial Revolution. We needed a way to get people to be good workers, right, and go work in these industries. So maybe it started out that way, but somewhere along the way, we lost. I don't know. We kind of lost, or there was no update. There's been no update, right? Like we still learn about Columbus, discover America. Our history is not correct.
Not exactly.
Göbekli Tepe, there hasn't been an update.
We decolonized them. We decolonized Columbus, so he doesn't even get a day now.
I don't know. I haven't been to school forever. Is that how it goes now?
Yeah. He's now he always was. It's just he was a colonizer, and so now he's been debunked as now it's about indigenous. They call it Indigenous Peoples Day is the official terminology now for what was once Columbus Day. It's again socio-political. We can go there very easily. You talk about anything that's politics, dude.
Well, the vast majority of human history. Growth and wealth came from expansion, right? From colonization. For centuries and centuries, we had empires constantly trying to fight to overthrow each other. Now, all of a sudden, the world's a little more static, right? It's everyone's where they're supposed to be. And now all of a sudden, how do we expand without actually expanding? It's a very different kind of world we live in now. You know what I mean?
Well, you want to see the spoils of conquest on display very easily. You go to the Vatican and you just look up. It's gold walls. They're made of solid. They're made of gold.
Dude,
what?
I really want to know what the hell the Vatican is hiding. There must be some goodies.
Oh, dude, so much. I'm sure those libraries. Are you kidding me? And you know what's sad? Here's the saddest part. In my opinion. People are so disinterested in reading and learning that even with first of all, you can't access those files. Let's start there. And even if we could, all of these people are so lazy about reading and like disinterested in like deeper truth that they're like, I'm gonna go do something entertaining. Go watch some YouTube. They're watching now on YouTube, right? I'm gonna go play some video games. I'm gonna go entertain myself and not like dig deeper. And this is like a criticism I make of myself. It's why I dug into like crypto and AI and like new technologies. And I'm like always trying to dissect all these things that I'm learning about. But I'm like, dude, there's so much knowledge that we will never have access to that's right there. It's right there. And we won't get it.
Right. And it's just crazy times, guys. I mean, like I said, I feel like some sort of technological crossroads. And you know me, I'm trying to run for president, as stupid as that sounds, because I don't know. I think I have a vision, and it's crazy when I see all these people protesting. I don't know if people even know what they're protesting. I think that people just feel what's happening in their pockets, and when these, how the economy is affecting them at the end of the day, and everyone has a different story and all this, but there's a lot of confusion, and I think it would be wise of our generation, especially, to perhaps look at the history of our money. Like we're saying, there was no education around how money works, how it's, even about just investing for your own sake. There's just like none of that. But like you're saying about history, right? I've been going down the history of American history, European history. Did you guys ever hear about the colonial script? I think I was telling Rod, which was like interest-free money when the colonies first got here, by Benjamin Franklin. So it's weird because there's been other options throughout history that have worked out pretty well sometimes.
How did that one end though, Razo?
Well, the Central Bank of England got pissed off. It's like, nah, son. And they came in. It's like, where's our cut? And then
it was inflated. It was inflated to death, like every currency that has.
Yeah. It was working pretty well though. And then it was all the currencies get overinflated, and that's because what else are they gonna do, right? I don't know. It's like it's almost like you can't help yourself when you're making money. But then we have the greenbacks, right? Lincoln. And then JFK had his silver-backed interest-free money. So we know that's possible. So we know there's other options. And now China, right? We have gold-backed currencies. And now China's trying to bring back from the past. Because I think Iran and India and all these other countries I think China was like, can you guys please use our currency so we can beat the US? And they're like, the countries were like, the other countries were probably, well, why should we trust you? So China realized, shit, I think we got to go back to a gold standard. And I think ultimately what they're going to do is put that on the blockchain as well. I think they're just trying to take the best ideas from blockchain, from gold, and from
there was a graphic that I saw somebody doing some TA, and they showed the gold high. I don't know enough about this, so like you can verify, and others who are watching, I'm just reporting what I saw or what I heard. But it was like we saw the all-time highs that gold is going to right now. And their point was the shift of that into Bitcoin will be legendary. So like that's where a lot of the money that pumps Bitcoin may come from. It's from gold now transferring into digital gold. Now, I don't know, again, if that's the case, but that's what that graphic was insinuating. And, I mean, we know what's about to happen when Cardano pops off against Bitcoin. It's going to outperform it eventually for a moment, right? And then we come crashing back down to reality, and Bitcoin is king. But with the bull run is coming.
I've been looking at these charts, dude. It's just would you hear about the inside trader, right? Who was putting shorts like the day or 2 days before the actual tweet, even just a couple minutes beforehand. And but when I look at the levels, dude, because the way I draw lines, I feel like that's how the people in the know do it. Hey, go buy this 4-hour level at this time.
Do you want to put anything on the screen? You want to put one up?
Well, I'm not in my main computer, so
okay. No, you're good.
But like, I should have, because I could show you. Literally, they took it down to the last dollar of like max pain.
Damn.
But some charts look very bearish. But the one that makes me feel bullish is the Bitcoin dominance, because again, I had my plan, right, of the Bitcoin's dominance dropping before I even contemplate selling or anything like that, and we're nowhere near that. Like it's just like starting, according to like the ADA BTC charts and Ethereum BTC charts. It's just like it hasn't even begun yet. So, but then though, I don't know, man. I feel we've been through a lot in the crypto space this last cycle, man. It's like they put us through the ringer. It's emotional pain, got PTSD. It's just like, is the fun ever gonna come? I don't know, dude. It's
well, hey, I mean,
geopolitical shit happening, yeah.
They were talking. We kept talking about what December was when people were thinking where things were gonna go. So we haven't hit the month where we thought things were gonna pump, but we're getting close. You know what I mean? It's getting closer. So, well, I guess we'll see soon enough.
You guys still believe in the cycle? I feel like it's broken now, but what do you guys think?
That's what Charles said. That's what Charles said too, right? And like, look, it has to be. No, I don't think it's broken. No, let me answer briefly. I'll let Polly answer too. I don't think it's broken.
I don't know if I don't know if I would say broken. Maybe I would, but I'll say it like this. I think because things have changed, and I think some sentiment has changed and new things have happened, I'm not sure if the cycles how they unfolded before are going to happen the same way again. I maybe we see cycles happen in a new way. I don't know. You know, I guess you could say that means it's broken. Sure. But I think as things evolve, crypto's going to be looked at differently, you know, and I think because of that, we're going to see new types of investors come in. We're going to see new types of things happening in crypto. And because of that, I think cycles are going to look different. What that looks like, I guess we have to wait and find out.
Right.
Interesting point. You know, the ecosystem has to evolve, right? And like you have long technological booms, and that's what ultimately is happening here. See, because like that's what again I have to fall back on. Technology moves in 60-year cycles, like or 100-year cycles. It's like some like massive number like that. And so it's just interesting to see that we are at the turn of another technological revolution. If people stopped thinking about it like hype moonshots, and we're just like, is this fundamentally technology that is valuable to humanity? Then I think that's where the Vechains and the Cardanos and the ecosystems that are providing services of some kind, that they gain value. And then if it's like, no, I just need to store my value in like hard preservation, Bitcoin works great for that. And now we have tools like Cardano that are unlocking the DeFi option. So you're like, you know, also I'm sure Vechain will move in that direction if they're not already doing ZK and all that. But like that seems to be the thing. And maybe Midnight can serve as a bridge between Vechain and Cardano and, you know, Bitcoin and all that. I don't know. I know there's already certain bridges that they share, like the Rosen bridge and the on-chain bridge. So I see what we're investing in. If you are taking your time to think about what's happening around you and what this technology is and how early it is, and again, going back to my earlier point about owning the means of production, that's really what I meant. Is like you'll notice that, okay, banks are the ones being displaced or they're being now appropriated. Like they're now going to have crypto on demand or they will die. Like, okay, that's a big push. So it's institutionally now accessible to most through banks, like PayPal or whatever. You can buy it in a number of places. You can get it decentralized. There's so much more access than there was a few years back, and it's still not where it needs to be. And we still have a lot of the safety concerns, and like keys suck. Like keywords, I get it, are secure because of encryption and 256-bit whatever. But like, yo, I hate having to remember them. Just the idea of if this one little piece of paper goes away, like all of this goes away is so not good. We need better systems. And so I like, for example, what Edge Wallet has built, right? Shout out to them out here in SoCal. They're in San Diego, but they have a wallet that sort of, I think it's behind email or behind some double confirmation, but basically you don't have to store your keys even, but they give you access to your keys and they never see your keys. So it's this weird, like, again, Raz's code is the code good? Has it been vetted? Does it work? And if so, great. Then these tools are necessary for people just to move in this direction. Like, you want retail to come in, you want students using this stuff, it better be safe and like no data leakage and not what these scam NFT communities or token communities, what they do is they extract that liquidity from the vulnerable. Like, we know
share
this.
my screen.
We know what rug pulls are, of course. Yeah. Let's pop it up. So anyway, that's my rant on let's keep our users safe. And
I just want to show you.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
My screen up there. I just want to show you the level I mean. All right, so this is Bitcoin on the daily, right? All right, let me zoom in to this over here, because what I'm looking for is the original level that's holding this whole move up. And when I go here, the first candle I see, wait, let's see, is this one? No, sorry. Where is it? Let me show you what I mean. So the max pain on this move right here would have been this candle. Let's see. If I zoom out now, let's pull out. Hold on. Oh, okay. I was in the wrong area. Here it is. Right here. This candle right there. That was max pain. Why? Because it's the first candle. If I zoom in, sorry, I was in the wrong area earlier. But see, it's the first white candle. Well, the first white candle was here. But we have this broken candle right here. You see this gray candle that's broken below it? So the next one that's not broken like that is this one. And then look where we hit. Like, at this last drop, look where we came. Just to that last level of pain. And maybe we go a little down more, I'm thinking. But that could have been it if we can hold this uptrend right here that we're building now. But yeah, you see what I mean? That last line? Like how the price has bounced off of that multiple times. It's trying to hold this move up. But I can't believe they took us down to like the last dollar, dude. That's so nuts to me. I don't know. It's manipulation. Come on, man. They called each other like, yo, I'm going to sell right here and buy at this price right here. Boom. It's crazy. At what was it, 101?
Oh, you're muted.
420 bucks. They're probably smoking a joint.
No, yeah, dude. Like the people that got 8 at 26 cents or whatever, I was like, dude, get out of here. They just had a buy set way down there, and it just everything got drained, and they got that buy. I'm like, dude, I'm so jealous. Anyway, yeah, manipulation for sure.
Maybe there's a little more pain, but again, some charts make me think that this is just the beginning, and then especially if you look at gold or it's just all-time high. So I don't see why that couldn't happen for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin usually is a little lagger, likes to lag. It likes to do its own thing. Or maybe we're in some new sort of cycle where there's not the volatility, like maybe we do come back down and we go back up again. It's just like
it's respected for your cycles though for like so long now. And I'm like, why would it change because of one? It's always the different year, right? Like we get that narrative so often now. I've only really been in this like 2 full cycles. Like this will be my second full cycle. But like even I learned that narrative is like, oh, this one's different. This one's different. This one's not like those. I'm like, it's the same as those. After you look back and you see in retrospect, that was a 4-year cycle. Like, or, it matches. And I don't know. I think it's too precise and too mathematical and too deeply dependent on human psychology, which is so easily moved, that I think it'll just keep doing what it's doing until the very last Bitcoin is mined. And the ecosystems that demonstrate that they can bring something new, they'll succeed. Like DeFi will thrive. Like RealFi will thrive. Tokenization will thrive. NFTs will thrive and boom again. Like the ones that are worth people's time as technology or as community doing something important, backing something important, backing some idea. Like that's the age of autonomy means we come together to make shit happen. Like absolutely. So
yeah, I think what's gonna eventually limit the volatility that we see is going to be as simple as just having more people. I think for a long time, I mean, how much of a percentage of people are in crypto right now, right? We're seeing more and more people investing in things like Bitcoin. And I think the more you're going to see more people come in, and those big holders are going to sell and they're going to go down, but then more people buy in. And I would imagine over time, we'll start to see that dramatic change start to shrink. We're not going to see the dramatic changes as much. It's going to start to tighten up, right? And we're going to see, just because there's a larger spread of holders, so that these big whales that are holding aren't going to impact the price as much. I think if things work the way they're supposed to, that's how it's going to be. And that should happen in all the alts as well, right? Over time, at least the ones that have staying power, that are going to actually attract new investors, whether it's XRP, Cardano, Vechain, Solana, whatever the token is. Some of them are going to die off probably. And the ones that stay should follow that same path as Bitcoin. Maybe it's not going to be, because Bitcoin's going to be the king, right? It's going to be like the gold standard of crypto. So it's going to be a lot tighter. I think that's going to be the trend we follow. The question is, how long does it take us to get there? That's the $1 trillion question. How long does it take us to get to the point where we have enough people in crypto that we can start to see that volatility shrink and maybe be limited to the pump dot funds and the casino style stuff that we see, right? That'll stay volatile, but what about our neck of the woods? Can we get a little more tight because we got way more people holding, and that protects the price?
Right. Yeah. Well, fellas, I do gotta head off at about the hour mark. I figured we could do 45 to an hour. I got dinner now with the fam, and we just started a few minutes late. But next time, I think if we keep this rhythm, we can do. Was 6 o'clock good, Raza? You should have like pretty close to that.
Yeah, it's just work, but I did it a little late. Sorry, but yeah.
No, all good. All good. Yeah, next time we can maybe start Polly and I, and then just jump on when you're ready, and we'll kind of make that the standard. But thank you guys who are watching us here. Thank you for joining Polly's awesome community that he's building here with all of us, the Crosschain Council. I'm Rodrigo. Pleasure once more. I run DRMZ Stake Pool, a bunch of Web3 engagement out here in SoCal. And I'm a teacher by profession, and I like to educate on Web3. I'm a big fan of NFTs. If it didn't sound like it during some of my conversations, it was just me being critical. But I have way too many, and I truly love them. So stake dreams. If you have some Cardano, help us get to that 1 million delegation by December. That would be a great Christmas miracle. Right, we'll see. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one, and keep that money safe from the bad money.
Yeah, switch to good money, baby.
That's good. I don't know. Guys, have a good time. Hold on, man. The world's chaos. We just got to hold on in there. I'm sure crypto will have its pop sooner or later.
Yeah, don't lose hope. I mean, maybe go touch some grass and relieve the stress a little bit. I know it's a crazy time and people are kind of freaking out a bit. I actually feel like activity's way down around it, so I think people are doing that. People are taking a little bit of a break. Tends to happen when we get these pullbacks. People start to, but as soon as something big, good happens, they're all going to start sniffing back around. So if you're still here, kudos to you for toughing it out and hanging with us. You guys can see me in spaces. I'll be in the Non-Fungible Book Club space tomorrow again. I'm now a member of their team, so looking forward to joining them and doing the Vechain Cafe on Wednesday. And hopefully we'll have a bunch more fun stuff coming your way. But I agree with you guys. Appreciate you both. You guys have a great rest of your week and look forward to getting back next week and doing this all over again.
Peace.
See you guys.